Alright, as you can see, my whole kitchen table is full of stuff this morning. It's Monday morning. Friday I put in the new graphics cards and tested them out all weekend, and everything checked out great, runs great. I didn't expect the performance of the cards to be as low as it was, but I'm finding out that it's mostly because the processor I had in here, although it's a good processor, although it's a fast processor, just wasn't fast enough for these cards. These are the most up-to-date, fastest cards on the planet, so they need a faster, more up-to-date platform than what I had. That's not to say that this platform was bad. It's a good platform. The cards that I had were good. Runs most anything, any game that's out there. It's a great system. I just demand a little bit more for myself. Okay, I haven't talked about this case before. This case is a Thermaltake case. It's a 10-slot case, so it can handle a longer card. It has more room in it. It's an aluminum case. It's light. It's about 20 pounds lighter than the steel case. And believe me, that makes a difference when you go to pick one of these things up and you've got 6 or 7 hard drives in it, and the board and your water, part of your water system is in there. It makes a difference. You can see over here the tray that slides in and out of the system, so that you can work on the system board, take it off, replace it if you want to do water block work on it. It just makes it a lot easier. You just slip it out, put the stuff on, slip it back in. In the forefront, you'll see the old box for the system board and the old graphics cards. New graphics cards. This cage here is going to have 2 SATA 6 drives in it, which I'm going to try to make my boot drives. And of course, the water pump reservoir and radiator there. My boot drive, I'm going to try to clone that to the SATA 6 drives. I don't know if it's going to work because it's a different controller, and sometimes these boards are finicky as to where they want to put the boot drive in the BIOS. So that's something we'll find out. So one thing I'm going to do right now is go through the case and neaten up some of the wiring. I was never satisfied with the wiring because the wiring was all over the place because of the fans and other little peripheral things that you have to plug in. So I'm going to try to get it so it's a lot more organized than it was. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is put these single wide plates on the graphics card. I didn't have these on Friday when I was putting this stuff together. So now I'm going to put them on. It's pretty easy. All you do is take out these like so. This frees up slots, of course, and the other thing is this particular board is the slot, the PCIe slots are closer together than the other board, so this is going to help. You can see it just there you go. That plate is off. Now then you put the new plate on, which goes on like this. Just take one of the screws. There you have it. Single plate versus the dual plate. Makes for easier install and removals too. Okay, I'll get the other one done, and then we'll move on to putting hard drives into the cage for the boot drives. I just took these drives out of their wrappers. They're 500 gigabyte SATA 3 drives. I'm going to install them in this cage here. This cage doesn't normally come with the case. You can order them online though, and it expands your case 3.5 inch bay space by 3 more spaces. It can hold 5 as it is right here. and I've got 4 drives in there right now. This is going to be the boot drive. I'm going to make this a RAID 0, and it'll be the boot drive for the machine. That's if everything goes according to plan. Okay, I'll get these screwed down. You can see you've got the drives mounted in the cage here. So now it's just a matter of sliding the cage in the front. Right here. And these catches lock them down. One other thing I wanted to show you. On the front of this case, these little panels go in relatively easily. And when you take one of these out, don't throw them away, keep them, because you'll find out in the future you'll need it. You just simply put them in this way here, like so. And, oops, clamp them shut. And then you have your front panels on. So I'm going to put 3 more of these on there, and then we'll have the front closed up again. Let's look at the small stuff first. Here we have a set of 3 Corsair Dominator memory. I went online on Asus site and looked to see what was compatible memory for this particular board, and these came up. If you want to save yourself some headaches in the future, go on the manufacturer's site and see what they recommend for the machine. You can also call the memory manufacturer, and sometimes the memory isn't on the list yet, and they can tell you whether or not it is. Here, this is pretty fast memory, 1600 megahertz, and they're 2 gigabyte modules, and you put them in the 3 slots on the motherboard. We'll just leave them in the case for now. Put those guys over here. Now, we got the processor. Intel i7 Bloomfield 950. This used to come in plastic packaging, all of it, but now they're changing. Here you see the processor. If you look at close here, you can see that these are flat. They're not actually pins on here, they're flat surfaces. And the board actually has the pins, and they've done this since the 775 socket. This is a 1366. Pretty powerful processor, and she'll be going on the board. And of course, they always, you get a box set, you get the fan too. Looks like a pretty hefty fan, but I won't be using that because I'm going to be using water cooling. So so the next thing we're going to look at is the system board. Okay, this is the system board that I got. It's the Asus Sabertooth X58 motherboard. It has a 5-year warranty. It has a lot of good features on it. It has the one of the reasons I bought it is it had the 6 gigabyte SATA transfer and the USB 3 on it. It's the way it's built and the types of products they use on it to make the the capacitors and everything else are tougher than normal. I hope to have this one for at least 5 years. Now let's get her opened up here so I can find the spot where she opens. see the box has been opened. It's not sealed. There's your manual, the warranty notice. Read this manual because there's things that you need to know about this board. So don't just say, I want to just throw the stuff out there. It'll be okay. Don't do that. Cables, SATA 6 cables, regular SATA cables, SLI jumper, the Q connector, which is another favorite thing I like about the Asus boards for the front panel and that type of thing to hook into the board. Just plug it on here first, and then you just have one plug to plug in there. And if you have to take it off or put it on, it just makes it easier when it's in there. And put in there, so I can show you. This one has it on there right now. You see all those connectors. How if you've ever done any of this for any amount of time, you'll love these connectors. And the back plate, necessity. Okay, let's get the board out of there. By the way, keep all your box material. I keep it all in case something goes wrong and I have to send it back. Some of this has lifetime warranties, such as this board here. No, this board has 5 years, but the memory has lifetime warranty. The processor's a little hard to deal with because they're more picky about that. Okay, here we have the board. Processors go here, memory go here. The two graphics cards will go here. This is actually it's a 16x slot, but it's 4x speed. You have here your USB 3 ports. This is the eSATA port. I think these are the regular standard. These are the standard USBs. I don't know what this one is. I'll have to look that up. And this is also a eSATA port, powered port, FireWire port. Of course, your audio, 8-way audio. Good heats, nice heat sinks on your North Bridge and South Bridge. This is all very sturdy looking. It's actually a nice looking board. Okay, so one of the things we can do is I'm going to unpackage the memory and well, we can do the processor right now. Let's get this guy up here. There we go. Remember to take the pin protector out of there. It's necessary. You can't just flop this processor in there. Also, before you even put the processor in, take a quick look to see that you don't have any bent pins in there. Some of these boards have been delivered with bent pins. I don't know how that happens, but it happens. Okay, here's the processor. Now the processor is notched. There's a notch here, notch here. And in here are notches also. So you just bring it to the edge, drop it in. There, your notches are lined up. And then you take your handle, lock down. It's that simple to put that processor in. You just have to be careful that you don't try to force anything. You get the pins in the correct position. Okay, another thing that's going to happen is we're going to put, this is the water block retainer. You notice this is a rubber backing so that no metal touches the frame. What we do here is we just put that on like so. You notice in the back here we also have a metal backing for heat dissipation for the processor. Okay. And that'll go like that, and then our board is going to be facing this way in the machine. This is your inlet for your water here. And so, and before you even put that on, take this off. Remember to take this, I almost did. This is to protect the surface of the water block. Okay, so we got our water in, our water out, and that'll go down to the first graphics card from this point. So this little washer stay there. Get some thermal grease. And as I always do, I just spread it out with my finger first. Some guys think that this would be just terrible, me to be doing it with my fingers, but you saw me do it with the graphics cards, and the graphics cards are what, 25C, 26C. I think that's pretty good. Okay, then put a little dab right here in the middle. Oops. Only problem there is it didn't want to stay in the middle. I would pull that in there. Alright. And when we tighten down the cooler, let me grab this cloth here. When you tighten that cooler down, it will force that little dab in the center there to spread out. Okay. Okay, so then just screw these on for now until they touch the plastic washers. This guy is all the way on here. Let's get him all the way on. And what we want to do is try to get these on, tightened down equally. Equal amount of turns. And so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3, 1, oops, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now you don't want to over tighten it so that you flex the board. All right. Right now that's on there pretty solid. There's just a lot of tension on that thing. And we're not, we don't have any flex on the board. You also see that on the bottom here that the it's all pulled up tight. Okay. All right, then what we want to do is, hope they didn't make these too hard to get out of here. So stick these memory modules in. And oops, these have the have a different the slots are if you look at these modules, you'll see that they have little notches in them, so they can only go in one way. these okay, they're all set. Okay, the board is pretty much set to go onto the tray. I'll get that tray and we'll put the screws on and I'll show you what goes on from there. Okay, here's the system tray. One of the first things we're going to put in is the back pipe for the connections in the back. And it's pretty easy to stick in. It's just a matter of lining up and pressing it on. Snap into place there. Just go along. Make sure. Look on the back side. Looks like the top needs to go in. Particularly, top is not quite in there yet. There we go. Make sure it's snapped in there tight. So when you put that system board in, you don't have any problems getting it to fit in. Just put this over here for now. Then we take the system board with its memory and processor already mounted. This is ATX standard size, so it should fit just like the other one as far as screws go and things. Make sure everything's lined up in the back there. Okay, and then we'll put the screws in onto it, but we're not going to tighten them down. We're just going to bring them to the board, and once we've got all the screws in there and everything's lined up properly, that's when we'll tighten them down. Let me change this bit. Bit's too long. And put this on there. Change the bit. Like to go to back side and start the screws in the back side. That way, if you're forcing this up against this is padded somewhat, so let's get this over here. Okay, just make sure again, go around. They're all tight. Okay. So that water block isn't going anywhere. Next thing we're going to do, believe it or not, is stick the graphics cards on here. Now I got to go get the graphics cards. Woo! Cards in, put this back in here. Okay, then we'll take the, okay, both those cards are in. Make sure they're seated properly. That's down, that's down. Put this tab in here. Sorry about that, I had to answer the phone. Anyhow, I got the card seated and I connected it with a 1-slot pipe. This 2-slot, 3-slot. So no matter how many slots you have, there's a nice metal pipe you can get cool lengths that connect between the two. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the inlet to up here, and then the outlet to here, and then another pipe. The other one will come down in here, and I'm gonna do this one when it's in the case, but this one I'll do right now. It's pretty simple. Okay, so what I'll do is, where am I? This, where's that, the one here? Like this, slip it over it. Take it, tighten it down. Okay. It's right about there. No, this one I don't. This one we use this clamp here. You can see when you have a fresh piece of tubing, and it can be a little bit of a struggle to put it on here. So then we take this gas pliers here, grab a hold of this clamp, force it open. What the heck's going on here? Clamped in there. Now we take a tube, and where did I put the rest of that? Right here. Good cut. Put this. I'm going to take this. Alright, I'm purging the system as you've seen me do before, getting the air out of it. I've got all the power cables hooked up. I hooked up the original boot drive on the outside here. What I'm going to try to do is ghost it to my two Western Digital 500s in RAID 1, and then I'll hook up my RAID set. I don't know if it will accept it the way it's set up, or if I'm going to have to reformat it and reload it. We'll see. I'm hoping I don't have to, but if I have to, I have to. I can do that in overnight operation. Right now I'm going through the book, making sure that I'm doing everything I need to do before I actually boot it to get it booted up successfully. One of the things is when I hook the power up, it's do a memory test and make sure that the memory's okay. This memory was on there. I QVL this, so it should be good. When I get this thing purged and I'm ready to do some ghosting, I'll come back to you. See you later.